and welcome. I'm Dawn Peters of ConneXion Hub, and today we're going to talk about marketing innovations for small businesses. And I'm very happy today to have Frank Demming, President and CEO of Local Business Marketing Solutions. Welcome, Frank. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Dawn.
Thanks. So perhaps let's start off about a little bit about your company. What do you do? What does your company do?
We help local businesses nationwide. And when I say local, I'm talking about lawyers, doctors, dentists, home improvement companies, roofers, things like that, nationwide, get the word out about their businesses to their general public.
And tell us more how you do that in particular. What is exactly that your company does for those businesses?
We do typically digital marketing services, but we also have a creative software development arm as well that does mobile apps and also does custom CRMs for more complex businesses.
So you're quite innovative in yourself because you've married marketing and technology together.
Yeah, there was a need in the marketplace. Most people who understand technology don't understand marketing, so we bridge that gap.
So tell us the background about that and how your company came into being. What is your big why for starting your company?
I used to work in corporate America, and I worked as a project manager doing IT solutions for the government. I was part of a government, what do you call those things? The government integrators. So I worked 60 to 70 hours a week, got burnt out, knew there was a better way. There had to be a better way to make a living. And I got into the internet marketing space because back in 2005, I was like, astonished by the fact that someone who doesn't know you could go onto a website and see something that they're looking for and then buy it.
Right.
And I'm like, how does that happen? Now in 2005, 2004, now it's a common thing.
Yes, absolutely.
But back then it wasn't as common. And I'm like, well, how does that happen? How does someone do it? So I started studying, bought some books, educated myself. And in 2007, I launched my business. When I launched my business, though, I used to sell coaching products, so info products for small business owners. And I quickly found that, well, not that quickly because it took me 3 years, but that's not what small business owners wanted. They wanted it done for them.
Yes.
And when I figured that out, I changed my model in 2010 until now is why I do the marketing for them.
So is your background more in the IT or more in the marketing, and have you sort of rebalanced that as you've moved forward in your business?
My background was more on the IT. I
Right.
was very, very tech savvy. When I got out of school, I was a programmer. I'm dating myself now. I used to program in Fortran. I programmed in COBOL.
Fortran. Oh my word. Words from the past, hey?
So I'm more of a technology, but I learned the art and science of marketing but mostly on the internet side. But as I was learning that, I mastered the skill of copywriting, because what really makes people convert is copywriting.
Oh, can you talk a little bit more about that? What exactly do you mean, and how do you apply that to people's businesses?
Okay, I'll give you an example. Gone are the days that you can go to, your cousin Ann's cousin, your cousin Ann's daughter, to say, oh, build me a website.
Right.
You can do that if you want to, and it's going to look pretty, design and everything. But that's what I call a business card website. If you want to build a revenue generating machine, yeah, you can have a pretty website, but the words is what converts the person into a lead.
Right.
So you want to put your website to work, right? Not just make it look good. So when I have a plethora of really, really good copywriters on my team that understand my customers, that can write the words exactly that's going to emotionalize the person that's watching the website and say, oh, I want a conversation with this person. I want to, let's say if you're a chiropractor, I really have a bad back, I got to see this chiropractor. Or, my tooth is killing me. I've got to see, or I'm getting a divorce. I need
Right.
a lawyer, whatever.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. From personal experience, I can relate completely to that. The wording is so important, especially for businesses where SEO, or being found by the web, is critical to their business. In fact, maybe that's the only way they get found.
Exactly.
So the wording and the keywords are critical
Right.
to whether their business succeeds or fails.
Right. But there are three letters that, what we're talking about right now, there are three letters that people have to understand when they're doing internet marketing. It's MMM. One letter, 3 times.
Okay.
Message to market match. So let's say you do the greatest SEO in the world, and yeah, you got them to the website, but the website is not is not congruent with that. You just lost them.
Right.
So if your website does not speak to that ad, you're done.
I love that. Can you say that again for everybody who's listening?
If your website does not speak to the ad that got them there, you've just lost.
And the
you just wasted your time.
What's the MMM stand for?
Message to market match.
I love that.
Yes.
So can you perhaps talk to some examples of what you've done for businesses where you've worked specifically on that?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. There's a company right in Gaithersburg. I think he's in Gaithersburg. He does home improvement, and he just had a regular generic website. I think his Ann's cousins did it, and but he was doing well. He was doing fairly. I said, you can do a lot better if we just tweak a couple of things and get the wording right. And he didn't want to do that, so I said, okay, we'll try it your way. And I knew it was going to fail because it wasn't a message to market match. So we sent traffic his way. Phone was ringing, but it wasn't really exciting. I said, well, okay, let's do it my way now. And let's change the website first of all, and let's put the right wording because I know what kind of traffic I'm going to drive to it. We did that. Now his phone is ringing because there's a message to market match.
Right. It sounds to me sort of, and correct me if I'm wrong, branding in totality. Your branding has to be so consistent through everything you do.
Correct.
Even like your logo on your shirt or your business card or your website, it's
Correct.
got to be consistent. And I
Yeah.
think people think they can go to their aunt, sister's daughter and get a website built, and they can, but you're absolutely right that the message has to be correct and it has to be consistent over the whole of their brand.
Right.
So maybe can you talk about branding and what other things people need to be thinking about when they have their business?
Well, I'm going to talk to you about that in a second, but just let me also clarify another point. Yes, the wording, the message has to be right, but it has to also be emotionalized, and that's the key component that a lot of these people who go to their aunts, cousin to build a website are missing. People buy on emotion, as you know.
Yes.
Now, to answer your other question, so what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Branding. What are some other things businesses need to be thinking about, or you've helped businesses with?
Okay, what branding to me is very, very important that you have a slogan with your logo.
Oh.
Because I'll give you an example. There's called brand marketing, right? Target. That's a brand marketing strategy. They just go out to the masses and mail stuff. That's a very expensive way of doing it.
It can be, but it is a way that works for some people.
It works for
some businesses.
The larger corporations.
Right.
But if you're a small to I'll say small company. We'll start with them. Forget about the medium for now. You have to have a way, something that hooks your client that says, I want to speak with him or her. For instance, with Target, you see that circle and a red dot, and you don't see Target underneath. The first thing that you think about is Target, even if it doesn't say Target underneath. But with smaller companies, you don't have that. So you have to have some sort of hook in there that talks about, and I always advise that they do that and they tie that brand with their USP. Whatever your unique selling proposition is, make sure that it's somewhere in your slogan, if you will, of your logo.
Well, let's talk to the USP, the unique selling proposition. A lot of companies, again, like figuring out their target market, I would think they have problems with figuring out the USP. Am I correct?
Yes. And that's really a lot of times where we start too, Dawn, is we try to get them to understand who is your target market, who is your avatar, if you will, who is that person, and I got to tell you, I was going to say 9 times out of 10, but really, in my experience, it's been 10 times out of 10. No one really has actually run into me and said, yeah, here's what I'm looking for, here's what I want to market to.
Right.
No, they don't do it because they go out to networking events, they hand a business card out to everyone, hope for referrals, hope for this, hope for that. It's one of my business coaches used to say, hope is not a strategy. So.
Well, and again, the more you're focused on your target audience, then you can pinpoint the right way to advertise, the right keywords, the right message, the right networking groups. It's far more focused and therefore far better results.
Yeah, I mean, it's different if you're going to be marketing to millennials versus, baby boomers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So can you give some examples of how you've helped companies, or how do you help companies figure out their target audience?
Really and truly, I just collect data. Because if they can't tell me who it is, okay, then I have to find it. So after a year long, I can tell you exactly who that avatar is, who is your perfect customer,
right?
Who's buying from you. It doesn't normally take 12 months. I like 12 months because it gives me definitive data. Generally in 90 days, I can see a trend and say, okay, this is most likely your target market.
Right.
But once I take the most likely out once we hit the 12 months.
And I think it does make business so much easier because again they can just focus and streamline all their marketing efforts.
Yeah.
So I would like to go back, if I can, to the USP, the unique selling propositions, or I call unique selling points, either or. Because again, if people can't figure out what is more unique or more different about their solutions or services, then again, how are they going to sell or focus their selling? So can you talk to that, of what businesses can do or what they need to be thinking about along those lines?
Yeah, they need to focus more on what is the result that they want their ideal customer to achieve or to experience. How do they want to position themselves to make sure that the right person is speaking, you're speaking to the right person.
Right.
Behind the scenes, in front of them, or whatever. Because if you don't have that nailed, you're off. One time, I'll give you a quick story. One time, I used to like to go to Annapolis, and Phillips Seafood place.
Yes.
There was a rival restaurant not too far from there, and I like to. I'm a marketer, right? I like to help the small business, right? So there was a rival, not as small, not as big as Phillips, obviously, and it's not a chain, and it was not packed, so I went in there to eat. As I was leaving, the chef came out and said, "Hey, how was the food? How was this? I would love feedback." Gave a little suggestion stuff there, and he shook my hand and said, "I am the owner. I'm the lead chef and the owner." And I felt, wow.
Wow. That's a
but
big
what
job.
he was doing, what he was doing was collecting information so he can develop a USP.
Right.
So you gotta be innovative in that way. I mean, and anyone, that's just one example, any company can do that.
Well, obviously, our topic is marketing innovative solutions for small businesses. So can you give us some other examples of what's more innovative for companies to do, or what they need to start thinking about?
You need to start thinking about also partnering with people who are most likely to, similar niches like you. I'll give you an example. I just thought about one of my customers in Arizona who is a chiropractor, and he was in a very competitive area. He had a lot of chiropractors around him. So we started thinking about stuff. I said, okay. And something he said that triggered my mind. I said, okay, you gotta partner up with a massage therapist. Get a massage therapist, partner up with them, split the difference, whatever you wanna do, work that deal out. And we'll start marketing to that area in Facebook first and see what happens, and then if it's working on Facebook, we'll bring it over to Google and start getting a better reach. And that worked like gangbusters because he partnered up. He's thought out of the box. He was in a very competitive. No one else was doing that.
Right. I mean, because you're partnering with somebody who has same contact sphere, your same audience.
Correct.
But you're not competitors.
Exactly.
So yeah, so you can cross-promote your businesses, which is, so many businesses are doing that more and more these days, and it just makes sense for so many angles. So can you give any other examples of different innovations that you've helped small businesses, small to medium-sized businesses with?
I mean, so that was, dentists is a great example with dentists. Maybe not on the partnering side with dentists, but if you're struggling, that's a very competitive niche, as you know.
Yes.
And it depends on where you are, obviously. So if you have a dentist right down the hall, which it tends to be a lot these days, you got one here, you got one next there. What I've always suggested dentists to do is always try to at least add another service that will help you bridge find out what they're doing. You have to find out what they do, what other service you could do. Like for instance, if you don't do like braces, for example, which not all dentists do, or maybe add a kids division to you. If you only deal with adults, add a kids division. You know, you gotta somehow get out of your box, if you will. So that's one example for them. For home improvement companies, if you gone are the days where, oh, I'm just a kitchen remodeler, oh, I'm just a roofer. No, you have to be more.
Right.
So find out a way that you can add bathrooms to you, or basements, or maybe exterior remodeling, decks, whatever.
Yes.
Those are the innovative things that you have to think of, or you even to really think out of the box, coaching for businesses that are in home improvement.
Right.
People love it so much.
People seem to just want one point of contact.
Exactly.
And then do everything through them even as a conduit. So even the partnering or offering different services seems to be the great sort of solution.
Right.
So, and again, when you talk about small to business, tell us the size of businesses that you work with.
The sweet spot for me is anyone between 2.5 million to 10 million. They're small enough that I know I can help them, but they're large enough that if they're really looking to grow, they have room in there there's room in there to really look for more people outside of their sphere. Maybe they want to open up another office somewhere. And that's their aspiration.
Yes.
I don't want to stay just in Silver Spring. I want to be out in Annapolis too. So if you want that, you need to start expanding your brand. Another reason why I like them is typically those companies do not have a real marketing department. So they need an expert that's going to be a lot cheaper than a marketing department.
Right, yes. Well, I don't know your rates, so maybe, but hey.
No, trust me, it's a lot. We save a lot more money than a marketing department. The marketing is expensive. What your most expensive thing in business is what? Your resources.
Yes,
right?
people.
So if you can outsource it at a much cheaper rate, and you have to have a track record, of course, then why not?
But I understand as well, you do also work with startups. So can you talk to some of that? Because I'm sure some people watching are going to they might be at a startup stage of their business, whether it might be their first business or their third. So talk to us about that.
We have a program that I call it the startup program. So we sit down with them and we map out a 5-year plan for the startups. So, okay, you're at zero here. Here's your competitors. So you have to at some point, there's enough business for everyone now, as you know, right? So you have to at some point get closer to that competitor, and here is your plan to do so. And we'll start small. We don't have to, release the hounds on this thing, right? We just start small. And people often ask me what you want to start with. I love Facebook because Facebook is going to give me it's a small enough budget. It's going to give me exactly who we can all think we're looking for. Because at this point, that startup, there are some that think they know, but most startups don't know who their client is.
Right.
So we have to play around with it, and Facebook is a really good test bed.
Right, because you can post into the categories and narrow down your demographic.
And
so it's
narrow it
fantastic.
down. And then you'll start seeing, and you see the results, and they have this thing called lookalike campaigns. Oh my God. I mean, you've got to start. If you're a startup, anyone's a startup out there, you've got to start with that.
Right. No, that's great advice. So tell us the process. If somebody's going to start working with you, what is the process you go through with them? What can they expect?
I put them through I used to call it a marketing audit, but it's not an audit, it's an assessment.
Because that sounds scary. So
Yeah,
you don't
audit
want to,
sounds scary.
Assessment, consultative session.
Right. So it's a 50-question piece on my website. They fill that out. It comes to me, and once I see those answers, I can tell you exactly how we can get started, where your biggest gaps are. And my goal really, Dawn, is to get them up to at least 25% in revenue growth within 12 months. And I'm going to give you a path forward to do that.
Fantastic. So can you give us some examples of maybe some examples from small businesses you've helped and some sort of larger small businesses that you've helped?
Right here in Alexandria, actually. I helped a company. It's a language school, and they were competing against Georgetown University and all of these huge schools. And so they had, I think they had, when we started, 18 students or something like that. I mean, now they have over 250
Wow.
students just doing SEO and Google AdWords campaigns. That's it. And now we're going to start doing some Facebook with them because there's a different demographic that they're looking for. So I'm testing out through Facebook before we start writing ads on Google, So that's one example. There's a home improvement, I think I mentioned a home improvement company, tourism up in Gaithersburg. We helped them, like gangbusters, just by making the website look better and emotionalize the person and let them visualize the kitchen, how the bathroom should look, and speak to that audience.
Right.
Speak to their audience.
It seems like you just have idea after idea, which I love, and you seem very, very passionate about it. Yes, I can see it comes from the heart.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fantastic. Well, I'd love to talk about your book, 7 Steps to Recession-Proofing Your Business. Can you talk about why you wrote this and what your purpose of it is?
I wrote it because, if you think about it, what does a high school coach have that most, or maybe all, small business owners don't? And if the answer to that is a playbook, right? They just don't have what it is to look 5 years beyond, 10 years beyond. What 7 steps to recession-proofing your business will do is give you that playbook to ensure that you don't have a problem when we have the dips and valleys in the economy. If you're just relying on referrals, you're in trouble. Or if you're just relying on traffic that comes to your website, you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's got to be multi-level marketing approach now. Yes, 360 degrees. Yeah.
You have to. That's why in that book we also talk about the 4 R's of marketing, right? And if you can wrap around a marketing campaign around those 4 R's of marketing, which is reputation, reach, resell, and referral, you're going to crush it all the time, because as the economy goes on and people are spending less, it doesn't matter, because you've positioned yourself in a way where you're a household name, you've branded yourself, you've got your ESP down pat, you've got your avatar down pat, and even though it's going to be less calls, you're going to be getting a lot more calls than the people who are not doing this.
Right. More quality.
Yes.
And more focused.
And more focused.
So, yeah. So how do people find your book? How do they get hold of it?
They have to go to lbmsllc.com/earlybird. What Earlybird is I'm trying to create a list of people who are, just looking get the book for free, basically.
I'm sure people would like that.
On the
Who wouldn't?
30th of June, it gets on Amazon, and it won't be free at that point. But if you get on the list before that, I will ship the book to you 100% free, so at least you can get it.
Fantastic. And are there any other stories or words of wisdom that you'd like to share with the audience about marketing innovations for their small business?
I like to position myself as your partner if we're doing business. So it's not a client, you're not a customer, you're a partner. And that's my innovation, because I don't want this to be a one and done, if you will. Have you ever been to speed dating things?
No. I wouldn't admit to it either if I had. No, actually I haven't. Speed networking, of course, for business. But no, actually I haven't. But yes, I know what you're talking about.
It's not a speed dating thing. This is a marriage, and that's how I approach it. And there are times when, if I don't feel that, then I don't have a problem saying I don't think this is going to be a match, because I have to be able to know that my innovations are going to help you.
Right.
But if you don't want to approach it that way, then it's probably best that we don't.
I love that approach, actually, because with all clients in business, it is about relationships. And the longer you stay with that client, you understand them, their business, what makes them tick, and therefore you can help them more with their business.
Yeah, and also I can offer them more innovations as I get educated. Because we're Google certified, Facebook certified. I mean, we have all the certifications. So I go to a multitude of sessions and conferences where Google's telling us, hey, this is where we're going to be in the next 5 years. This is what, So I can bring that expertise to my customers. And the fact that I'm small enough that I don't have to charge a huge amount of money, because I have a very low overhead, and that's what, that's why I can bring forth a partnership, because I have a low overhead, because I'm small enough. And I don't, I want to position myself in that way always, because that's my passion, is that area, the 2.5 to 10 million.
Right.
Is because that's what I want. I want them to just grow beyond. That's the passion that I have.
Oh, that is wonderful. And so if people want to find out much more about you or your qualifications and how they can work with you, where should they go?
They can go to my website, which is lbmsllc.com, or they can call us directly. It's 888-416-7752.
And we'll make sure we get those details up. Thank you so much today, Frank. It's been such a pleasure. So I hope you've enjoyed the show, and if you would like to be on the show, or in fact just watch other shows that I've done, then please go to connexionhub.biz. Thank you for watching.